Welcome to the 5th annual Giving to Learn Grant Awards ceremony. This program and class was inspired by the Rich Family Circle of Giving and originally funded through a grant from the Philanthropy Lab, but now solely funded through alum donations and the Rich Family Circle of Giving. I would like to let the instructor of the course, Philanthropy in Theory and Action, tell you more about the class and how students learn to be grant makers. We are privileged to have Dr. Vida Avery, author of Philanthropy in Black Higher Education, A Fateful Hour, Creating the Atlanta University System, and a longtime Houston area fundraising professional, as the professor for this course. And it is my pleasure to hand it over to her for tonight's ceremony. Vida?
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. I would also like to thank the Rich family and sisters for their funding, and CCL and Dr. Caroline and Danika for creating this class for me to be able to teach. And it's amazing, as Danika mentioned, this is our 5th year teaching the class. And as to date, including today, we've awarded $168,000 to 31 programs and organizations in Houston. However, this is our first year awarding grants to a racial justice project, as well as a international emergency project. So we're really excited about that. Now, with the commitment of the class, we started off with giving goals. And as Danika mentioned, we were initially funded by the Philanthropy Lab, and that's how they wanted everybody to start. And we just continued it because we thought it was a good idea to have students think about what they want their philanthropy goals to be, and then later to revisit them, you know, in 5, 10, 20 years to see if they wanted to make any adjustments. And I'm not going to read all of these, but we did put this together. This is Lucy. She wants to give to her some of her income to organizations she cares about. She also wants to volunteer her time, either as a volunteer and a board member. And I hate that she's not here because during our board deliberations, she was our board chair. And yes, we did have an actual board meeting. This is Aaron. Aaron wants to donate some of his income to nonprofit organizations. He also wants to volunteer. And luckily for us, he was our secretary, board secretary during the deliberations. And Danika can attest, he took copious notes for our minutes. And then we have Riley. She wants to establish relationships with organizations and volunteer her time with nonprofit. She later wants to donate some of her income as well. And Riley served as our parliamentarian for the board deliberation. And then we have Roma, who also wants to volunteer, but she wants to mentor and pledges to donate some of her income. She was our statistician, so she kept us up to date. I'm going the wrong way. Up to date with our funding and what we had left. And I'll show you later on, she also created, she and Sam created a Google Doc, a way in which we could rank the organizations. And then we have Sam, she was Roma's assistant. She wants to give some of her time to a free clinic, percentage of her income to organizations that address environmental racism. And again, thank you for being our assistant statistician. Next, we have Andy. Andy plans to heavily be involved in philanthropy. He wants to give up his time, his expertise, and his money. We have Saeed. Saeed plans to give a percentage of his income. He wants to give some hours of his time volunteering. He's with us tonight. And next we have John. He's an international student and he wants to give some of his income and help other international students attend medical school. And I don't think he would mind. This just goes to show his commitment to the class, because I think now it is probably, I don't know, 12, 1 o'clock where he is. He's about 9 hours ahead of us. And yet he made it to class every week. So I appreciate that. I mean, I was shocked one time we were on, he showed me his phone, it was going on 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I appreciate that commitment from you. And then last but certainly not least, we have Tori. Tori wants to be active in philanthropy by, again, donating her time, her voice, and financially. Fortunately, she is unable to be here. So we started the class like most classes, going over the syllabus, explaining what all was going to go on. And they basically started like students in the other class. You know, there was reading, and more reading. I'm sure they could speak a little bit more about that. But they started the students by learning the history and the theory of philanthropy. We assigned, I assigned them into different groups. Each group had a certain number of organizations where they did their due diligence by researching the organizations, and I'll go through some more of that. In between the classes, we also had guest speakers from the fundraising field and grant making field. We had Dr. Edwards from Houston Endowment, and she discussed strategic philanthropy. We also had Ronnie Haggerty. She's Assistant Vice President of Community Relations at United Way, Greater Houston. And she discussed nonprofit realities. We also had Carme Williams, who's the Vice President of Development at Prairie View A&M. And she discussed philanthropy and education, higher education. And it just so happened, we had her at a good time because she was able to discuss and talk about that massive $50 million unrestricted grant that was awarded to Prairie View from Mackenzie Scott and how they plan on using that. So that was really timely. And this year, for the first year, we had 2 students. So one of the requirements when we were under the philanthropy lab was we had to select 2 students to be evaluators. And in 2 years, they would come back and evaluate those organizations that they funded that year. So this year, Saeed and Lindsay came back to the class and presented their 2019 Grantee Evaluation Report. And then back to the class. So once they were students and they did all the reading and all of that, they became program officers. We sent out an RFP to organizations. Organizations then returned a proposal. As program officers, they read the proposals, they scored them, and they also conducted site visits with the nonprofits they were interested in moving forward. So another first this year, we had virtual site visits where they were able to ask whatever lingering questions they had after looking at the application and reviewing, you know, the 990s and looking at all of that. And they got to also know the people behind the program and the projects. And so these are just a few of those pictures. And as you can see, everybody was excited and glad to be on the call. I was a little worried about that, but they seem to have enjoyed it. We also had one group member who actually made an in-person visit because she wanted to see the project up close, that they were wanting to move forward. And then we had our board meeting. They became board members. It took us about 2.5 hours where each group presented the organization they wanted to move forward. As I mentioned, after the presentations, they ranked the organizations. And then after ranking the organizations, we went into deliberations where they discussed how they were going to fund the organization and how much the organizations were going to receive. So in the rankings, there were 6 categories for each organization. They looked at the proposal score. The proposal score, leadership and governance. We also looked at the 990 because the students analyzed how funds were being spent for programs, fundraising, and administration. We looked at the funding amount and the specific program, and then they also looked at the evaluation plan for the program or project that they were requesting funds for. And this is just to show the Google Doc that we used after each organization. And Sam and Roma, they also had a spreadsheet to where they could tell after each organization, once we funded, how much funding was left. And so again, the deliberations came after that, starting to rank. They ranked the organizations like they would in the real world. The highest ranking one went first, and then we went down the line until the pot was empty. And so with all hands raised, we decided on our 2021 grantees. So as philanthropists now, they are awarding funding to 6 organizations in Houston, and each group will present to their organizations by giving a brief presentation. And if the representative of the organization would like to say something afterwards, then we would like for you to do that. So up first, we have group 1, Roma and Andy, since Tori couldn't be here. If you would like to start your presentation.
Hi, y'all. Thank you for having us. My name is Aaron. I was in this group with Roma and Tori, who are fabulous. My apologies real quick. I have some technological issues, so if I'm in an awkward angle right now, it's because I'm on my phone. Before we start, we'd like to thank Dr. Avery for a great class and the CCL and the Rich family for making this possible. So our first organization that we had and brought to the board meeting was Latinos for Education. And just a quick overview of the organization, Latinos for Education in Houston is a branch of a larger organization based in Massachusetts, whose mission is to develop, place, and connect essential Latino leaders in the education sector. And they're also building an ecosystem of Latino advocates by infusing Latino talent into positions of influence. And ultimately, they believe that Latino leaders should be at the forefront of creating equitable education for Latino students and work to break down barriers to educational opportunity for the next generation of students. So the program that they requested funding for was the Latinx Teachers Fellowship, which aimed to support 50 to 75 Latinx teachers across the country, with 20 to 25 being from the Houston area, through a fellowship program focused on increasing self-efficacy, developing career goals and motivations, finding best practices for teaching marginalized K-12 populations, and to build networks of Latinx teachers. And ultimately, we were able to advocate and reward Latinos for Education full grant request of $5,000. We're really excited about this project and this organization. From our site visit and from the proposal, we found that they have amazing media exposure and recognition, and we believe they have the tools and the team to go out and do great work with this project, and we're very excited. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. Representative like to say a few words?
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Gonzales. I'm the Executive Director of Latinos for Education here in Houston. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for the wonderful gift that you all have given our organization to help equip Latino educators this upcoming summer with the tools that they need to be able to effectively reach English language learner students and all students as well. So just on behalf of our organization, a big thank you. And a thank you to the Center for Civic Leadership, whom I've had a longstanding partnership with over the last few years, beginning in the previous role that I was in. There's just a lot of great work that you are doing. And I personally just really appreciate everything that you do for our students and for our community. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to the students that participated. I thought that they conducted one of the most thoughtful site visits that I've ever participated in. And they did all of their homework and just took this so seriously and asked really good questions. And I think that all of the thoughtful process in their engagement is a reflection of how intentional everyone here has been in developing our future leaders and making sure that we instill a sense of purposeful and strategic giving so that our communities are stronger. So thank you for everything that you all do. And I look forward to sharing with you all our progress.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Hi, so thank you, Andy. We also really loved our site visit with you. But our second organization who we also enjoyed having a site visit with was Amana Refugee Services. So Amana's mission is to be the leader in providing support for refugee and immigrant families to have equal access to opportunities for economic success and social prosperity in their new homes. Their programming is centered around the core value of empowerment among the refugee and immigrant community, with most of their programs specifically targeting youth and immigrant women through programs such as educational, tutoring, mentoring, such as Teach 360, financial assistance, emergency relief, and the Big Sister Circle, which is the program we will be funding in part. The Big Sister Circle aims to support immigrant women by putting them into circles with other women and 2 volunteers who serve as mentors and kind of establish the support network. In these circles, they'll increase their proficiency in the English language, learn job readiness skills, and become acquainted with resources and ways for them to adjust to their lives in Houston and in the US. The Big Sister Circle also helps promote health literacy and address food insecurity by providing resources for these women through grocery card programs and personal funds so that they can go out and buy groceries for them and their families. We are so excited to, next slide please, yeah. We are so excited to award them a grant request of $2,000. They have recently expanded to serving the entire refugee and immigrant population in Houston, and we're so excited to see how they grow and see all the new expansion and programming that they're doing, and we're so excited to be a part of that. And we loved meeting with both of our organizations and being able to learn from them both in our research and in our site visits. So thank you to Andy and Farah, who I think is on this call.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to the students and for this great opportunity. And thank you to Jessica to introducing us thoroughly to the work of the CL and all the amazing programs that you guys have. I enjoyed the time and the talk that I had with the students during the visit. Really amazing, great work. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And we are looking forward to share, hopefully, the progress and the results and the feedback from all the participants in the Big Sister Circle, hopefully. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, and congratulations again. Next, we'll have group 2 with Riley, Andy, and Sam.
Hello, everyone. I'm Riley, and thank you all for coming out today to celebrate the work our class has done, and more importantly, the amazing organizations we're giving grants to. So our first organization is Every Shelter. They were founded in 2018, and their mission is to design and build shelter solutions for refugees of war or natural disaster. Their mission is to relieve suffering and grow resiliency for those displaced by war, persecution, and disaster. And they're able to create and design really innovative products for refugee camps. So these products are really innovative and inspiring. So far, they've used and repurposed billboard tarps to use as refugee camp tents, which is an idea that came from refugees themselves. But we're going to be mainly talking about Every Shelter's patented emergency floor tiles. These are really durable floors given to refugees to make sure that they have improved health outcomes. And today we have Scott Key with us, who's the CEO and co-founder of Every Shelter. But now I'm going to pass it off to Andy to talk about the grant we're giving them.
Yeah, so as Riley mentioned, the grant would be helping Every Shelter manufacture these emergency floor tiles and for specifically Syrian refugee camps. And so Every Shelter is working with a partner, Global Communities, to install these floor tiles and to also collect data on the impact of these tiles. So we have approved $5,000 to provide flooring, and this roughly translates to flooring for actually 400 individuals. So we're really excited to see the progress and the success of Every Shelter, and we look forward to sort of seeing how the project comes along and eventually hopefully seeing all the floors installed.
Thank you. Congratulations. Do we have a representative from Every?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I just wanted to thank the class. I know that my team was really encouraged to get to know all of you. You know, it's just really encouraging to see how thoughtful you all were in the process. And also the CCL, we've really enjoyed being partnered with CCL. We've really benefited from a lot of the Lowenstein Fellows, and hope to continue to work with Rice in this class and the CCL. And just wanted to extend a thank you on behalf of the families that we work with. There's a lot of donor fatigue around the Syrian refugee crisis, especially now that we're in the 10th year, but the needs are still there. And so we're really grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, next.
So now we're going to introduce Faye Justicia Workers Center, also known as Houston Workers. They were founded in 2011. They are a workers' rights community organization. Their mission is to provide a safe space for low-wage workers to gather and learn about their rights in the workplace, file complaints with government agencies, and meet with attorneys. Faye Justicia Workers Center also organizes low-wage workers to improve conditions on the job, mobilize their workers in the general and religious communities to improve their wages, benefits, and working conditions. So they specifically help Latino low-wage workers, predominantly those with undocumented immigration statuses. And they're today we have Daniana Trigoso with us, who's the executive director of FJWC.
So we are excited to award FJWC a $2,500 grant to assist with the development of their transitional living facility for victims of labor trafficking. And we're also thrilled to support their advocacy campaign for domestic workers' rights. Overall, we were just really impressed by their success in empowering low-wage workers and their engagement with other nonprofit organizations in the Houston community. So thank you, Daniana, for the site visit. We had such a great experience.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I have to say thank you for Riley and Sam to have the interview and to have the ability to know more about the Faye Justicia Worker Center. Like the girls said, we are the Houston workers who provide assistance and special legal assistance and now financial and support assistance for undocumented low-income workers such as day laborers, workers, and domestic workers who has been in the front line with the COVID-19 pandemic and has been surviving you know, every single time. So we really, really appreciated the opportunity to still continue to working with RISE for so many years. So thank you, thank you. We really appreciate this assistance.
Okay. All right. And then we're moving last but certainly not least, we have group number 3. Lucy couldn't make it, but Saeed and John are here.
Okay, so thank you for this great opportunity to present our institutions and the institutions that we support. We were really impressed by all of the RFPs and all of the submissions that were given to us. And so we will begin talking about different institutions. LAWNDALE is a multidisciplinary contemporary arts center that engages Houston communities with exhibitions and programs that explore the aesthetic, critical, and also the social issues that are hanging around our time. And they were founded in 1979. They have supported the creation and exhibition of contemporary art with a focus on promoting the work of Houston and Texas-based artists. And we are pledging to offer $3,500 for the next cycle of the Sankofa project from the 1st of June to 31st of May in those years. And if you were to briefly talk about the Sankofa project, it's a multi-year curatorial project by local artist Tori Malone, who also examines the historical events leading up to our current moment of social unrest and racial reckoning. And this is done by a series of artist commissions and public programs with scholars and historians. And this project commissions 3 artists annually to create and present new work that is reflective of their own experience in contemporary America and related to the work of scholars and historians for leading conversations on race and inequality. This was a project that was really dear to our team, especially around this time. And we were really impressed by the LAWNDALE team's professionalism and the passion that they held towards the Sankofa project, and as an institution as well. They were really professional, and it was really obvious that they really cared about this project, so much so that Mrs. Mitchell actually took time to participate our site visit literally a day before before having a baby. So that we were really impressed about all of their passion as an institution.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, LAWNDALE. Do we have a representative here?
Yes, this is Emily Fenns. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, yes, this is Emily Fenns. I am the Community Engagement Manager at LAWNDALE. Thank you all so much. It was such a pleasure to work with CCL and great to have you over for a site visit. So glad you got to see it in person. Thank you on behalf of LAWNDALE, as well as our artists and community, including the Sankofa project artists, as this project continues to unfold with its exhibiting artists, as well as programming with scholars and historians. We look forward to keeping you all in the loop and welcome everybody to visit our galleries Thursdays to Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. to see Sankofa project and more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then we have Children's Defense Fund.
Awesome. So just to give you guys a quick rundown on CDF. So they're basically a nonprofit agency established in 1999 that advocates for children's rights. It is involved with advocating for policies and various programs that help children against poverty and abuse. So they were seeking funding for a project that they call the Youth Voices Storytelling Project. And essentially it's targeting and empowering marginalized youth who have been excluded from civic life and teaching them and providing equipment to create short films that eventually are seen by policymakers. The objective is to lower civic barriers for young Texans by providing resources, training, and mentorship to create a sense of community and civic purpose, understand social and systemic inequities, and address social justice issues with community-driven solutions. So we are very pleased to award them with $2,000 to help kickstart the Youth Voices Storytelling Project. We thought, they exuded, tremendous passion, for the jobs that they do. And, they have a, long list of executing on projects and following through. So we thought they were a great candidate.
Thank you. Congratulations. We have someone from the Children's Defense Fund.
Yes, my name is Clarissa Webb. I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator at Children's Defense Fund Texas, and also Amber Ayala, our Youth Programs Intern, is online as well. We are overjoyed to kick off this project. This gives us the support to move it forward and to continue to uplift voices of marginalized youth in starting in the Houston area, and we hope to expand it from here. So thank you so much for trusting us with this and investing in us, and in turn investing in the youth of Houston and Texas, a very viable voice that deserve a platform. And we want policymakers to know that they work for us, right? They work for the young people. And it was a real pleasure and an honor to meet the team on our site visit. Such great conversation, and we have enjoyed great conversation with Rice students through the Alternative Spring Break program and various other connections. I just applaud all of you on your civic mindedness, your other directedness. It really is just inspiring to be connected with all of you. So thank you. I look back to where I was when I was in college, not in the same place. Okay. So just applaud all of y'all for your thoughtfulness. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to give a round of applause again for all of our awardees, and I'm going to hand it back off over to Dr. Danika for closing remarks.
Thank you, Vida. Wow. Thank you, students, for your attention to learning about these community partners' great work. Your support of their programs enable them to continue making important steps toward a more equitable society and a better Houston. The Center for Civic Leadership is committed to offering high-quality, community-engaged experiential learning opportunities for Rice students. We do that through partnership and engaging our community partners as co-educators in those experiences. Community partner contributions to student experiences like this one, the sharing of knowledge, skills, and appreciation for the assets and potential in our communities is of immense value. Equally important, however, are the partners who make this work even possible through funding and feedback and inspiration. The Rich Family Circle of Giving, along with the contributions from our alum, make this course and so many of the CCL's programs possible. This course and these awards really are a profound giving circle with multiple ripples of impact. Thank you for making all of this possible. Before we say goodbye, I know that the members of the Rich family, Sharon Rich, Mary Klein, and Rini Carniel, you're here with us, and I certainly would welcome you to say anything to these students and our guests if you're so inclined.
I just want to say that it was just wonderful to hear about the thoughtfulness that went into each of the organizations. And this is exactly what the idea around the circle of giving is about, is not only the giving, but the learning how to give. And as you say, the ripples that hopefully years down the line, it'll happen. It was really exciting to hear that 2 years from now, hopefully somebody from this group may come back and evaluate how these groups did.
And thank you all for continuing the legacy of our parents. As some of you may know, our mother, Hilda Rich, was an alum of Rice University, and very much was passionate about philanthropy. Just calm. So we really thank you for the opportunity to, what she wanted and what we did when we set this up was create the opportunity to do exactly this, for the students to learn about philanthropy, to project for themselves what they want to do in the future, and to practice the opportunity of giving away funds at this point in time. So thank you so much, students. Great job. The projects are incredibly impressive. Can't wait to hear more about it. Professor, thank you for really doing an excellent job of a curriculum, bringing in outsiders, as well as a really worthwhile curriculum. Sometime I'd like to see that curriculum. Sounds
I'll send it to you. I can send it to you.
And really, thank you, Rice, for overseeing this and making this happen in the way that really was intentional, what we wanted we hope for and to really benefit the community. And it sounds like all these projects are projects our parents would be very thrilled that the funds are supporting. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much for coming together. And even if we're in this virtual space, it's not the same. We don't get to chit chat afterwards, but it does my heart good to see all your faces and to have had such a lovely event. Vida, thank you from the bottom of our hearts always for making this possible. And I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? I don't know.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, this is Mary Klein. I just
Oh,
wanna
hi,
thank
Mary.
you. Yeah, I had trouble with my phone here. Sorry.
No worries.
I'm not very good technology. Anyway, I'm just so impressed with all of the actions of the class. It amazes me, and have been really close to Hilda, and she would just be ecstatic right now. And honestly, I wish I could take the class because I would learn a lot from it. So I really appreciate what everyone is doing, and I hope it's continued throughout their lives. And thank you for inviting me to this.
Thank you so much for coming and giving us such wonderful words to end on. That was perfect. All right. Now I mean it. I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Great work.